What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard. It is Trading Live with Bubba, and of course, it is quiet as we suspected. Not much going on. Certainly, it doesn't look like there's going to be much day trading today, but you never know. We're ready if there is. But you can see the volume has dried up and the markets have dried up. We have had a pretty dramatic turnaround in the markets and certainly came off of a little bit of a blow off to the downside. Now we've gone kind of straight up. We'll see. In the meantime, we'll look at our other stuff right now. This is very painful from a trading standpoint. There's not much going on, so you have to be very, very careful. This is not a time to get too aggressive. You look at Apple. Again, if I were going to do anything with Apple, I would be looking for a spot to sell it, but it needs to rally quite a bit more to the upside for me to even think about it. And one of the things we're missing in the markets today is the speed that goes along with trading. So no speed means no panic, no chasing. So again, it's more just natural trading versus any alternative activity, which is what we're looking for when we're trading. Amazon, again, coming back down, never made it up, but it did make it to resistance, which we talked about, but we said that we would wait. Again, you have to trade to the market conditions, okay, which is right now dull and slow, okay? And one thing you do know or should know is that dull markets tend to drift higher, okay? In the meantime, coin, again, right in the middle of nowhere, okay? It's really stuck between 190 and 220. We're at the lower end. I mean, if I were looking for something to do here, I'd look to be a buyer, but I'm not doing anything. Okay. Again, I want you to remember that I'll give you some potential ideas, but not really interested. Crowd. If you remember last Thursday, we talked about here selling some call spreads. It would have worked out. But again, I'm not saying anything was definite. We were very, very suspect on the way that we were trying to trade. And of course, again, I don't want you to get too overly excited or too overly involved in here because of the challenge that we're seeing. And let me just make sure we're not missing anything in here. Well, we might be getting something here on the NASDAQ, potentially. Let's see here. The NASDAQ is a potential. I guess crude, maybe. I doubt crude can get there, but NASDAQ certainly could. It would have to continue to rally. The Dow is not going to be enough. I'm not getting involved there. So the only two potentials that we have really right now is maybe a sell in the S&P, maybe a sell in the NASDAQ. But they're certainly not clear, and you can certainly see they're not running away like they're not chasing them up. So there's really no speed or activity to the market, and that's something you want to remember. And it looks like it's going to be a no-go. So we'll go back and we'll come back shortly and see. In the meantime, Meta. It did get up, but never really did much. I don't have a lot to say because there isn't a lot to do. Google, right in the middle of nowhere. Now, we do know by watching this that Google is going to make a pretty big move, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next week or so that it trades as low as 155 or trades as high as 175. Okay, it's going to make a big move. Which way, I don't know yet. Okay, IWM did get to a spot where you might look to sell some yesterday, but again, it's so slow. It's really like, do I really want to get involved? And that's always something that you have to look at and decide. And to me, there doesn't look like there's an overwhelming amount of activity that suggests that I really want to get involved. Okay, personally, if I wasn't here, I'd be on the golf course right now because this is not the kind of activity that bodes for big trading and big profits because there's not enough ranges, and you're not getting enough movement in either direction to say, well, here's what we're going to do. I mean, you can kind of identify that we're just kind of creeping higher in the NASDAQ. We're just kind of creeping higher in the S&P. You're kind of in consolidation in the Russell, and the Dow is kind of doing not a lot. So again, you have to understand where you are and what you're looking for. Moderna, that what we thought was a bottom is looking to be not a bottom right now. Okay. So it did pop up to 90, but here it is back down around 80. If this doesn't hold right in this neighborhood, it's probably going lower and would probably test down to into the 60s somewhere. Microsoft, again, just stuck in consolidation, 405 to 425. Nugget, as we did say that we would sell that one. And of course, it did work out well. And I would still continue to look to sell it. I think it's something worth looking at. NVIDIA, we really don't want to do anything. They got earnings tomorrow after the close, I believe. Thursday after, is that right? Wednesday, tomorrow after the close. And I think Crowd has got earnings this week too. Let me just go back here for a minute. Crowd has got earnings Thursday after the close or Wednesday. So again, there's probably not much you want to do in there. The Qs, they're just stuck consolidating. Okay, 470 to 480. Square jumping a little bit, but really just consolidating. Again, this is what unfortunately, these are things we have to do. Sometimes you have to sit it out. Okay, sometimes you have to sit and watch. Okay, there's probably no doubt that markets are going to make new highs at some point here. Again, whether it's warranted or not doesn't really matter. The tape doesn't lie. The markets don't lie. They're absolute. So, you got to look at it. Tesla, just dead in the middle, right? Got to that overbought position, came back down. Win, finally did bounce as we kept selling put spreads and they kept working. And here you go. Now we're at the mean, nothing really to do. XBI, if it gets a little bit higher, I would look at it. But again, I'm not excited about anything. The only thing that I would really look to sell would be Zoom. Okay. And there I would sell, and I already have, but I would sell a deep in the money call spread, trying to create a synthetic put. And not because I'm negative Zoom, although I am, but not because I'm negative Zoom, but because it's gone up. Since earnings, it's gone up 20%. Okay. This rally, whether it goes up much higher eventually or not, this rally here is going to fail. And I would bet a lot of money, which I will, that it'll come back down to at worst 66. Okay. So this is one I would definitely look at. In fact, maybe I'll add to my position right now. Let me take a look. Let's take a look. Zoom. See, I can't share this screen with you, but I can tell you what I'm going to do. And this would be for this week. I would sell, let's say here, 665 and buy the 72. 92 cents. Yeah, it's not such a great value. It's almost the same as buying the 72 put. So as much as I don't normally buy those options, the 72 put is certainly something that you might want to look at 90 cents. Again, that's up to you. I'm not that excited that I want to do anything right now. I just think that you're looking at a market that is extremely quiet and very, very little going on, which suggests that you should probably be doing very little. Okay. I mean, you've got, the euro currency, which is in consolidation. It is making a little bit of an ascending move here, which means it could break out to the upside. The notes are in consolidation. Okay. Crude, maybe this has made it a bottom, but again, everything is so speculative because we need the market to move. We need action to be able to make high probability trades. And we're not getting any action. I mean, if you look, here is just a price ladder of the Dow. Okay. There's nothing going on. Okay. It's just sitting here back and forth. Okay. There's no speed. There's no action. So again, why would I want to, get involved? Because again, one of the things of trading is the speed at which the markets trade creates the opportunity for you to trade in them. And I don't see a ton of things to do here. Okay. I don't see much to do anywhere. And of course, that's why I'm telling you, I think this is a great week to study and to look and not to get too involved, because at the end of the day, okay, you don't have much. So any real opportunity that we'd normally be looking for is really not a function of this market or what's going on. It is just really a quietly dead market that is not giving you a lot of opportunity. And I think that's why it always makes more sense to sit passively by and allow the markets to trade and wait for your opportunity versus trying to force the opportunity here. I mean, certainly you can see for yourself that this is virtually like watching paint dry, and there is not a tremendous amount of excitement here. Again, I wish I had more to tell you, but we'll watch and see if something shows up here. I would highly doubt it, but you never know. Again, but the theory behind markets is they will tend, dull markets will go higher or drift higher. And if you were watching earlier, the markets were getting hammered, and now they come all the way back because they are dull and there is not much going on. So again, why would you want to be overly active here? This is how you lose $5,000 and $1,000 range, because you're trying to outguess or outsmart the market in these particular times. And again, this is as slow as slow it can be. And even if we look at other markets and some of the futures markets, we normally don't do, but I got nothing else to talk to you about. Euro currency is certainly a potential sale. If you trade options and futures, you can look at that. The bonds and the notes are just stuck in consolidation. Okay. You can see there's not much going on here. Bitcoin got to a little bit overbought, pulling back a little bit, makes sense. Gold got to overbought, pulling back a little bit, makes sense. Silver is overbought, probably at some point up here a sale. And the ETFs that would represent some of these products aren't good enough to trade. Either you have to trade the futures options or the future itself, which is what we do here when we're trading, or you do nothing. Okay. And copper, pretty much oversold. Certainly something to look at. The grain markets, they were very much oversold and would have been a buy potentially coming in today. And you can see they're all bouncing a little bit. But again, there's so little to do that I can't get excited about anything because of the lack of volume, the lack of opportunity. The one trade I would gamble on, okay, if you're into that kind of thing, I would look to buy October natural gas at about $2 if it gets down there. Okay. That's although the product itself is fairly risky, I think that's a low risk, high reward trade. As we get closer into the fall here, it's already September. So again, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying that's what I would look at. Crude oil, again, rallied off, very oversold, big rally. Now we're seeing a little bit of pressure right back to the mean. So again, what can I tell you? There isn't much to do here. We'll look and see and we'll watch, but again, at the end of the day, what do I got? I don't have much. So what's the point of getting involved when there is not much going on? That's what you have to remember, because the markets are not in a favorable position right now to make any real money. I mean, if you're looking at longer term stuff, yeah, you could look at longer term stuff. But again, I don't see much at all here that I'd like to get involved with. I would love to, Starbucks is one we looked at, which did not work and is not working again. Okay. You can see it's still pretty much going straight up. But now the volume is right up. So the reason we got in the first time, which depending on when you put it on, if you did put it on, didn't work for me, but depending on when you might have put it on, it might have worked for you. But at the end of the day, there's just nothing to do. So once again, I say to you, what am I going to do here? Okay. Do I want to give my money away? Do I want to lose it? Or do I want to wait for better opportunity? And to me, making a decision not to trade is always is as important as making the decision to trade. Okay. And when there is not opportunity, which I don't see opportunity here. Okay. So why get involved when there's really not much to do? And this is always important to understand, that with this lack of activity and not much to do, what should I be doing? So, we'll go back and see the day trade stuff. And of course, they really haven't moved since we've been here. You can see the euro currency back down to the bottom end. Okay. Consolidating. Again, even if you were able to scalp out this perfectly, you're talking about 3 or 4 ticks. Okay. Not exactly the the way that you'd want to trade. Okay. It's one thing if you're a floor trader and you're scalping out it a little bit, but when you're trading retail, as we are, you have to be much more careful. Okay. And you need to get much bigger wins to make up for costs and for everything else. So again, right now, as you watch this pathetically slow market, what is there to do? And to me, there is not much to do. And again, obviously, I'm not making any money by not trading. You're not making any money by not trading. But you know what? We're not losing any money either. And that's what we have to do. And we have to see if something will spark this market a little bit. But right now, it does not appear that we're going to see anything. So, I will watch for a little bit longer. But overall, I mean, as I tell my guys in the morning when we're day trading, if you got something else to do, it's a good time to do something else because there's nothing going on here. Okay. And that's always something to remember, that there's just nothing. When there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do. You cannot make the markets pick up some action when there is none. Okay. And at the end of the day, you're watching it live and in color with me. Okay. Now maybe crude will be something here. I mean, that's a real possibility that crude could become a trade. But that looks like the only really one that has any potential. But we'll see. I mean, it needs a lot more volume, but it'd be nice if it would come down to here on some heavy, and the volume would get up to here. But I don't even need it that far. But that would be the perfect setup that we'd be looking for. So let's see what happens here. I only need the volume to get to here, but obviously I'd like to see it get all the way up. But that would trigger a potential trade as they're starting to pound it. Okay, so it reached part one of my objective. Okay, to signal a potential trade. Let's see if it reaches part two of my objective. Okay, so it is reaching it. So now we're going to go ahead and go look at this right now and see. All right, right now we cannot make a trade. We have to make it now. We can potentially make a trade. Meantime, our stop would be 75.24 would be your stop. Okay, 75.24. Right now we don't have a buy yet. We'd like to buy it at 95 or higher. I don't want to buy it lower because if it's lower, it signals it's still going lower. Okay, 95 or higher right now. With a 24 stop. 75.24 stop. But we have to wait. Oh, look what happened. Something happened. News is out. Okay. Something must have just come out, or everybody just panicked at the same time. But look, there's no volume there. Okay. So anyway, let's go back to our potential crude. And 95 or higher. It's going to be right on the bell. All right. You can go ahead and trade this. If you're trading with me, go ahead. It's okay. I don't know if it's going to win, but it's the right trade. 75.24 stop. Work to sell 110 ticks above and 120 ticks above, and then we'll play with the rest. Okay. And let's see if anything else is happening. That trade set up. My orders to exit are set up. So now this is not really enough volume here. Okay. This is not really enough to get overly involved with. I mean, certainly, I could see. Okay. We got a little bit of a profit in our crude trade, but nothing too exciting. Again, we would like it to snap much faster than it is snapping right now. That is a part of the trade, is to get a much quicker response to what it is. Certainly these are close. Okay. But I'm not interested in close right now. Okay. This is one of the things you want to remember. I'm not interested in what's close because it takes away from the overall probability. Okay. So again, if it was real busy, we'd be taking those trades like nothing. But right now it's so slow that how much do you want to get involved? Okay. And you should be potentially out of one of your crude trade if you took it. So now move your stop to break even. We'll take a small profit either way. All right. And now you would be stopped out with a small profit, but you're out. Okay. You're out and I'm out. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you back here on Thursday. Adios.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.